Good day, class. I am Mr. Marvin M. Calanoc, and I'm going to discuss to you again the subject Philippine politics and governance. And the topic was about the powers of the Congress. So let me give you the objectives of this study. Okay, the number one objectives of this study at the end of the lesson, you would be able to recognize the main power and function of the Philippine Congress. In the last objectives, appraise the impact of Congress's performance on Philippine development. Okay, so what is this main power of the Congress? We call this the legislative process. The main power of the Congress was to submit the two main documents. It is what we call the bills and resolution. The Congress is responsible for making enabling laws, which means they make sure the spirit of the Constitution is being upheld in the country, and at times amend or change the Constitution itself. In order to craft laws, the legislative bodies comes with this what we call the bills and resolution. Okay, so the Senate as what we call the upper house, and the House of Representatives as what we call the lower house. We call them upper house because we elected them through a national, and the other one, the lower house, what we call them the lower house, it is because we elected them by means of district level. Okay, and then they are called by the government as Bicameral Congress. Okay, their main function was to make bill. And this bill is only a drafted law unless otherwise it was signed by the president. Okay? It was signed by both houses and signed by the president. Okay? And their goal is that this bill would become a what we call law. Okay? So how does this bill becomes a law? Okay? So there are steps in order for this bill to become a law. The number one step to make this bill becomes a law, in the House of Representatives or in the House of Senate, they must undergo in this process. The first one is what we call the first reading. How the bill becomes a law. The first reading involves the reading of the numbers and the title of measure. Okay, and the second one is they refer it to appropriate committee within the body of that particular Congress. Okay, they refer it. They have their committee. In this stage, the bill may be killed, and the committee or they may recommend it for what we call the approval. Okay, and the third step is supposed to be, or the second stage is the second reading. Okay, the second stage where the bill is read in its entirety. Okay, they start to debate and printing its final form. Okay, and the fourth step, the members merely registered their votes and explain them if they are allowed by the rules, and no further debate is allowed, and that is the third reading. Okay, and then the fifth step was the referral to the other house. Other house, which means if the House of Representatives made a law, they will refer it to the other house, which means the upper house, which was supposed to be the Senate. Okay, so what happened in these steps? The other house approved the bill and transmitted it to the Senate for its concurrence, and then the Senate action on approved bill of the House. The bill undergoes the same legislative process in the Senate. Okay, so that's what happened in the bill. And then the second step, and then the sixth step is the submission to a joint bicameral committee, or what we call a conference committee. This conference committee is a constituted body that was composed of the members of each house. They are the one who are going to settle or reconcile or thresh out differences or disagreements on any provision of the bill. Okay, and the last step is the submission to the President. The presidential action on the bill the bill is approved by the President, it is signed an RA number, or what we call the Republic Act number, and transmitted it to the House where it was originated. The bill is reproduced and copies are sent to the official Gazette office for publication. That official Gazette was with, they're the one responsible for publication and distribution to the implementing agencies. Okay, so the President has what we call this veto power. Veto power is whenever the President doesn't want to sign the law, he may use this. This is his special power. Veto power is rejecting the proposed bill. Okay. So, and also the President have this veto power, but if the bill was lapsed into 30 days of the receipt, the bill will automatically becomes a law. Okay? In case the President vetoed the said law but the House of Representatives may overturn a veto by garnering at 2/3 of votes. And if the President does not act on the proposed laws I have mentioned, there will be a lapse of 30 days. It will be automatically becomes a law. So that is the main function of the Congress on how a bill becomes a law. Bill. Okay, so what else are the other functions of the main function of the Congress? They also, aside from bill, they also make this what we call resolutions. Resolution is a convey principles and sentiments of the Senate or the House of Representatives. Okay, these are the sentiments. There are 3 elements of resolutions. It can be further divided into this: joint resolution, concurrent resolutions, and a simple resolution. Okay, what is this joint resolution? A joint resolution is kindly similar to what we call bills, as I have discussed. Deal with the unusual or temp matters. Okay, it requires the approval of both chambers, which means the upper house and lower house of the Congress, and the signature of the President is also required, and have the force and effect of a law if approved. Example of this is a declaration of war. Okay. Next, the concurrent resolution. Concurrent resolution matters the both houses and Senate must act on. Okay? They don't have the force of law. It don't have force of law rather. Okay? Concurrent resolution was adopted by both House of Congress that do not require the President's signatures and do not have the force to law, as I have mentioned. Correcting the enrollment of a bill that has already passed by both houses. So that is the example. Other example of concurrent resolution. There must be a correction for the enrollment of a bill that has been passed by the Congress. And also concurrent resolution examples, they ask the President to return a bill that has been presented to him before he has signed or vetoed the bill. So that is another example of concurrent resolution. Another example of the concurrent resolution is what we call a congratulations a country on their anniversary of independence, recess of Congress. Okay. And the last one, resolution, the last kind of resolution is what we call the simple resolution. It deals with matters entirely within the prerogative of one chamber of Congress. Okay? If the joint resolution requires the signature of the President, this resolution doesn't require. Okay? It is referred to the President for his signatures and therefore have no force and effect of a law. Okay, doesn't require the signature of the President. Okay, so how does this Congress convene a session? Okay, so what time did the session would start? Okay, on the fourth Monday of July for its regular session, unless a different date is fixed by the law. Okay, this regular session is what we call the meetings of the both houses Okay, and then it will open it only for 4th Monday of July. But the president may call a special session at any time. Okay, so when does this business start? What if there's a start of the session? Okay, and what if there were no presence of a members of it, or there's an less present of a member of the both house of the Congress? There is what we call this quorum. A quorum of each house, a quorum is a majority of each house shall constitute to do a business. Okay? So meaning to say, there's a required half membership, 13 in the Senate and 149 in the House of Representatives. That's because the House of Representatives have at not more than 250 and 24 senators. So whenever they have a business, they must constitute a quorum, 13 for the Senate and 149 for the House of Representatives. Okay, so that is how the quorum works within the session. Okay, so there has been passed, there are laws that has been passed by the Congress. And then what are those Congress performances in our country? Okay, we have noticed that the Congress performances, they passed about the postponing of Philippine Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections in 2016. That is RA 10923. They also passed the law about the Universal Access to Quality and Tertiary Education Act. So that is why there's a free access of education in the state and university, and among the state universities here in the Philippines. They also passed the act about the Gift Check Act of 2017. So the Congress performances making December 8 as a non-working holiday commemorating the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. It is because Philippines is considered as a Catholic country, so that is why they have to pass this kind of laws. Okay, and the Bangsamoro Organic Laws and the last these are one of those laws that has been passed by the Senate and the House of Representatives, and of course the three branches of the government. Okay, Philippine Identification System Act. So that was supposed to be the major or the main function of the Senate within the House. Their responsibility is to make laws, to make rules and regulation within our country, so that our country will become more so that the country will be more productive in terms of engaging themselves towards the citizen. Okay. So for your activity, in order for you to relate yourself in this activity, I want you to answer to our lesson. I want you to answer this activity. Number 1, create a program that is beneficial to the school. Number 2, create K-12 program is one of those laws that has been passed by the government or the Senate and the House of the Representatives, and signed by the President and interpreted by the judiciary. Evaluate the importance of it to the overall development of our country. And afterwards, answer the question, what can you say about the Congress performance on the Philippine development? Okay? And then, relevance to the topic, 10 points. Creativity, 5 points. Neatness, 5 points for a total of 20 points. You're going to pass this. On the next day, we're going to meet again. Thank you for listening and goodbye, class.